All right, so right now you got the Democrat Party spiraling even worse. They've got an approval rating of 19%, the lowest ever. As a matter of fact, in July, their net approval rating decreased to negative 13, the highest ever. Their second highest ever was in June of 2025. Now, this all on the heels of this explosive information that Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national security of intelligence, just unveiled, which is something that we all knew, which is that President Obama, former President Obama, the Clintons, the Clinton Foundation, all worked in cahoots with Russian operators to subvert the 2016 election. They did everything they could to block the will of the people, which is to have President Donald J. Trump represent us. And anybody wonder how, with the success that he even had in that first time, now with all of the information coming out, where this man had the intelligence agencies, he had people inside of his team and his administration, you had the media all working against him. And guess what? We were still able to get the economy running better than it ever has in its history. Now, is there any wonder that now that he has loyal people around him, he's got the legislation that he needed? We are seeing changes and improvements in this country at such a rapid rate. It'll make you remember the industrial age after World War II, except for this is the technology age with AI and everything like that. But Barack Obama now no longer is a speculation, because we've known, or should I say we've alleged, but now they have proof, declassified docs that Tulsi Gabbard found linking President Obama, the Clintons, to the conspiracy to block the 2016 presidential election. So in this video, we're going to check out a little bit of this article. I won't go through the whole thing, but then I'm going to show you exactly President Obama went out on podcasts and he's talking about what your sons, my sons, our grandsons need in their life in order to be well-rounded and successful. I'm going to show you that. But then I'm also going to show you just how wretched and how the skullduggery that himself and the Clintons played, and how these people are enemies of the American public. They don't love us. And if anybody that didn't know it, what we're going to hear in this video will expose it for sure. So Tulsi Gabbard calls for the prosecution of Obama over treasonous conspiracy in the 2016 election. U.S. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard on Friday publicly accused former President Barack Obama and several of his top administration officials of orchestrating what she described as a treasonous conspiracy to undermine Donald Trump's victory in the 2016 presidential election. In a statement accompanied by a set of newly declassified documents, Gabbard alleged that Obama's senior national security team deliberately manufactured and politicized intelligence assessments regarding Russian interference in the 2016 race. She contended that these efforts were part of a coordinated attempt to discredit President Trump and subvert the will of the American people. Gabbard declared that her office has submitted relevant documents to the U.S. Department of Justice calling for a full criminal investigation. In her allegations, she named several prominent Obama-era officials, including former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper. We know James Clapper was one of the people that also signed that Hunter Biden's laptop was a hoax, that it was fake. Even though the FBI had it within their clutches since 2019, they knew the hard drive was real. They had verified all of the data. They also knew that the pawn shop owner had a copy of the hard drive, which means that any manipulation that they would have tried, they would have been busted for it. And Hunter Biden and everybody said, oh, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. And even prior to the 2020 election, they knew it. And remember when President Trump brought it up, Joe Biden stood right there and said, no, it's a lie. As a matter of fact, I've got a letter where 51 high-ranking intelligence officials, which included John Brennan, which included Jim Clapper, said, oh, this thing is fake, which we now know to be true. Remember, everything that the Democrats consider to be a conspiracy today becomes tomorrow's conservative or right-wing fact. So we got James Clapper, former CIA director John Brennan. Now, you see John Brennan's running around on MSNBC, and that's the only left-wing extremist outlet that will let him get up there and spew the lies that he's doing. John Brennan has been a part of every single movement used to try to subvert the will of the American people, not just in 2016, but in 2020 and in 2024. But in 2024, like President Trump put it, it became too big to rig. And then we got former FBI Director James Comey. Now, James Comey is the same individual who investigated Hillary Clinton, who was sending emails and corresponding on a private server, which is a violation. Public officials are not allowed to use private servers or discords to communicate and transmit classified documentation. She did it. And when it was subpoenaed, coincidentally, her hard drives and her servers were bleached. And what bleaching means, that is the highest level of cleansing and deletion there can be, where no matter what you find, you won't get it to work. And they were literally destroyed by hammers. We're talking about cell phones. We're talking about hard drives. We're talking about USBs. This is all fact. And over 33,000 emails that were deleted, which he said, you know what? She didn't intentionally try to delete and bleach and crash up those hard drives. Wasn't intentional. That James Comey. Also the James Comey whose daughter just recently blew the RICO case against Sean Puffy Combs with tons of evidence. She blew it. Oh, and she was also the prosecutor on Jeffrey Eppilator's case. She was also just relieved of duty by Department of Justice. Trump administration just fired her because the apple don't fall too far from the tree. And now she's showing that she is her father's daughter. So, matter of fact, remember at one point in time when President Trump was saying how real this is. Now, right here, what we have here is the actual declassified document from January the 20th, 2017 at 12:15 in the afternoon. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I'll never ask you for a cash app or a super chat, but you hitting that like button, it really helps the channel. It helps spread the information out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, and even if you are already subscribed, make sure that you hit the notification bell and select all, because YouTube has been having an issue with sending them out. But if you select all, you'll be notified when I upload new videos. On January 5th, following a briefing by IC leadership on Russian hacking during the 2016 presidential election, President Obama had a brief follow-on conversation with FBI Director Jim Comey and Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates in the Oval Office. Vice President Biden and I were also present. President Obama began the conversation by stressing his continued commitment to ensuring that every aspect of this issue is handled by the intelligence and law enforcement communities by the book. The president stressed that he is not asking about initiating, or instructing anything from a law enforcement perspective. He reiterated that our law enforcement team needs to proceed as it normally would by the book. So as you see down here highlighted, it says President Obama asked if Comey was saying that the NSC, National Security Council, should not pass sensitive information related to Russia to Flynn. Comey replied, potentially. So there we go. We got them discussing whether they should pass over information to the current administration, which would be General Flynn. They're blocking information getting to the administration. And this is Obama, who you know what I mean? He's not even in office at this time. This is President Trump now as president. But look at how it started. This is actual proof. And as you can see, there's two Susan Rice, CC Reed Curtis, and we know who Susan Rice is with Obama. Now here's President Trump when he tried to tell everybody about it. Then wait till I get into what Obama had to say about us and gay men.
Was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
There's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify
It's been totally verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And then they went much further than that, and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie.
Wow. Now remember, President Trump been saying it. And look at 60 Minutes, who we know was involved in the Kamala Harris edit on her questions about what things should be done in Gaza between Israel and Palestine. And she gave that mumbling, bumbling word salad, in 60 Minutes with their also liberal supportive selves were more than willing to edit it to make her look better. Okay. So we got that. So check out this with Barack Obama, who really needs to learn how to just go sit down and have a Coke and a smile. Check this out.
When you do go, bring a gay friend.
I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't outlawed, who became one of my favorite professors. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group, so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or whatever, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this. Yeah. Right.
So Barack Obama feels that in order for young men to be well-rounded and really understand how to move through life, they need a gay man in their friend group to help them understand things better. And you need a gay man in your group, so when that other young gay dude that's hanging out with you in your group, even though you're not gay and you don't really, no disrespect or anything, but, it's not like a you know, don't typically hang out with this individual, but now you got to have them around because they're gay and they can help you understand your father better. How is it that hanging out with a man that lays on his back and goes down and puts other men in private areas, I don't even want to go into that. How is that beneficial at all? What does that have to do with being able to read, write, and do math? What does that have to do with just treating people by how they treat you and just being respectful to everybody? What does having a gay man in a circle have to do with anything? But you see the BS that they're spewing? You see this. These folks are insane. And he's putting this out there as if we don't know what his preference is. We know who you with. We know you love Big Mike. We know that they labeled you as the first gay president. Fine. But it's stuff like this that is driving men away from the Democrat Party. It's crazy. That's like saying, you know what, you should always keep a heroin addict in your group. You know, they can always help you understand how, you know, you should say no to drugs. They might rob you blind and, you know, steal your things from time to time and be gone for periods because they're chasing that fix and come back and sleep a week. But you need that person to help you understand that drugs are bad. What? But this is the BS. So right now, the Obama name, remember how they were everybody thought that they were just this, that, and the other. President Trump is breaking all of them. He already destroyed the Clinton's reputation. And now the once thought of as oh so unbreakable Obama brand is looking clownish. Obama's out here looking like Will Smith. Now they feel like they want to emasculate every man and make every woman butch. But luckily, by the grace of God, we got women like my wife out there that still are strong in her independence. And she has her feminine, masculine energy or whatever, but she's a lady first. She's a woman first. You can be a tough woman, but soft at the same time. Just like as a man, you could be a masculine man, but still have your emotions when the time suits it. I don't believe a man should be running around crying at the drop of a dime and telling everybody all about his feelings because people don't care. It's time to go out there and get busy. You fix your feelings when you get home to your wife. But hey, I'm going to digress on that. But tell me what you think about the Obamas. Is that shroud or that beautiful brand over? Or do you think that they can bounce back? What do you think about them being exposed? Did you know it the whole time? Or is it a shocker to you? So, you know, let me know. And a matter of fact, if you're still here watching, I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell. I'm happy to be back home. I had an elbow injury that went septic on me, put me down for a few days, but I'm back, baby. So I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.